Hello students, my name is Kriti Mishra and today we are starting a new subject, Database Management System. So let's start and study DBMS. This is the syllabus according to AKTU. First unit is total introduction, then relational data model, language, then database design, normalization, transaction, processing concept and conceptual control and techniques. So today we'll see unit 1, the introduction section. DBMS, that is Database Management System. These days, as you all are aware, that data is how important for us. So at the very initial age, we use file system to store various datas in our folders, and afterwards we are using database management system. So what are the reasons why we were not able to use continue the use of file system? So these all things we'll study in database management system. So initially you have to know that what is data. So data is a collection of a distinct small unit of informations. We can say a raw fact. Okay? It can be used in a variety of forms like text, numbers, media, bytes, etc. Can be stored in piece of paper or electronic memory, etc. Word data is originated from the word datum. Okay? That means single piece of information. It is plural of the word datum. Generally, data is raw and unprocessed. Next, information. By using data, by retrieving data, we make information. How? That data become information when it is processed, turning it into something meaningful. When data becomes meaningful, that becomes information. So, information is organized or classified data which has some meaningful values for the receiver. And then information is a processed data on which decision and actions are based. Next, what is database management system? Database management system, DBMS stands for database management system, in which the word database means the collection. Database is a collection of data and management system is a set of programs to store and retrieve those data. Based on this, we can define DBMS. DBMS is a collection of interrelated data and set of programs to store and access those data in an easy and effective manner. For example, the college database organizes the data about the admin, staff, student and faculty. So, in database management system, we store data in a tabular manner like this. Suppose you have a table . Student, in which ID, name and address. Likewise, we can store data in tabular form. Why we need to store data in tabular form? Because by organizing data in tabular form, we can retrieve data very easily. What is the need of database management system? Database management system are basically developed for large amount of data. When dealing with a huge amount of data, there are two things that require optimization: storage of data and retrieval of data. First is storage. That is how you are storing data. According to the principles of database management system, the data is stored in such a way that it requires lots less space as a redundant data. Redundant data means duplicate data, which we will see in further next chapters, has been removed from storage. And why fast retrieval? Why we are storing data? So that we can fetch data and make some process data and make some information. So faster retrieval is important because each and every day millions and trillions of data are generating. So when we store in well organized way, remove the redundancy, etc., then only we can retrieve data faster and quickly. So along with storing the data in an optimized and systematic manner, we can retrieve data quickly when needed. Next, what are the examples of database management system? That is MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, IBM, DB2, etc. These are the softwares which we use to store data and retrieve data. We use query language, that is like SQL, structured query language, to retrieve data and to store data. Like we communicate in a language, it may be Hindi, English or any other language. So we communicate with database management system by using the language SQL, that is structured query language, that we'll see in unit 2. Next, database types. There are various types, in which the first one is single user database system. It supports only one user at a time. When a single user database runs on a personal computer, it is also called a desktop database system. And then multi-user database system. One is single user, another is multi-user. It supports multiple users. It supports multiple users at a time, so that the relatively various small number of users, it is called the work group database system. If the data is used by many users across globe, it is known as enterprise database system. For example, distributed database. A person can access data from various places using internet. So database, these days a new concept is also here, that is cloud. That in cloud, in a virtual database, cloud is what? It is a virtual database where we store data, and so that we can retrieve data from anywhere, and we can, so that the database can be used for multi-user database systems. Now, database types. So, depending on the location of the database, a database system may be classified as centralized database system and distributed database system. It supports a data located at a single place. Suppose there is a small organization where no need of large data, so that we can use centralized database, or if it is a very confidential like defense data, also uses a centralized database system for the safety and security of the data. So, according to the requirement, we use centralized database management system or distributed management system. In distributed management system, it supports the distribution of data, but it at the view level, it is not visible. Nobody can identify that the data is coming from different sources at the view level. So, in the distributed database management system, it supports a data distributed across several different sites. Means some data is stored here, some is in another city, but we can retrieve data at the same speed from anywhere. The same database can be replicated and stored in another computer, so that whenever the original server goes down, the data can be available to the user. For backup also, we sometimes store data from different locations. In case of any disaster or any mishappening, we can take data from different locations. Next, application of DBMS. So there are DBMS is very important, and it is very important applications. So these days in the banking system, for customer information, accounts and loan and banking transaction, like universities for student registration and grades, and for the airlines for reservation and schedule information, and library management system for maintaining all the information regarding books, issue date, name of the book, author, availability of the book, etc. And in telecommunication also for keeping record of all call made, generated monthly bills, maintaining balance on prepaid calling cards, etc. And sales for customer, product and purchase informations. And also in the finance, human resource, manufacturing, medical sector and military. These days, in each and every sector, we use various database management system to manage our data, because data is very important for us so that we can retrieve data and analyze data. Next, what are the advantages of database management system over file system? So, in file system, we use various methods. So, controlling of redundancy. Data redundancy refers to the duplication of data, is that storing same data multiple times. In a database system, by having a central database and centralized control of data by the database administrator, the unnecessary duplication of data is avoided. It also eliminates the extra time for processing the large volume of data. It results in saving the storage space, and it also improves data sharing. DBMS allow a user to store the data in any number of application programs. Now, the data integrity. For data integrity also we use DBMS. Integrity means that the data in a database is accurate. Centralized control of the data help in permitting the administrator to define integrity constraint to the data in the database. For example, customer database, we can enforce an integrity that is much accepted by the customer only from various cities. So, these are the various advantages of DBMS over file system. We will also see the difference between DBMS and file system. So, next, this is also the advantage of DBMS, that is security, efficient data access and data consistency. Means by eliminating data redundancy, data consistency will be maintained. Next, these are also the advantages: providing backup and recovery, providing storage structure for efficient query processing. Next, what are the disadvantages of DBMS? So, if there is some advantage, there is some disadvantage also. What are these? It increases the complexity, because each and every day billions of data are generating. So, we use various methods to manage data, to arrange data in a well-structured way, so that within a less cost and less time, we can fetch data and use data. So, by increasing the number of data, it increases the complexity of data. Next, requirement of new and specialized manpower for large size of database. Of course, when there is a large size of database, there are various management systems. Then we also need a manpower to manage various database management system. Then DBMS implementation cost is high compared to the file system. Of course, when there are when the size of the database is increased, then you need various hardware to store data, and also a well-trained professionals to fetch data and to structure data in a manner. And then the performance. As the size increases, performance also get affected. So, database systems are generic, making them suitable for various applications. However, the feature that affect the performance for some applications also. Next, this is the difference between DBMS versus file system. So, DBMS. With DBMS, there is minimal data redundancy. Means redundancy of data is minimal. In file system, redundancy problem exists, means repeated data is there. In file system, there is very much repetition of data, and which we minimize in the database management system by using the various techniques like normalization, etc. Next is data inconsistency not exist. We also use various method for the data for reducing the data inconsistency, and in file system there is data inconsistency also exist. Next, accessing database is easy. Accessing data in database is easy as comparison to file system. Next, problem of isolation not found, and here the problem of isolation exists in the file system. Next, transaction like insert, delete, view, update is possible in DBMS, and transactions are not possible in file system. So, next is concurrent access and recovery is possible. Concurrent access of data and recovery is possible with database management system, and concurrent access and recovery is not possible with file system. So, this is the very good example and advantage of database management system, so that multiple user can use the same database from different locations. Security of data is also important. So, DBMS provides security of data as comparison to file system. Next, a database manager, that is administrator, stores the relationship in the form of structural tables. We store in the database management system, data is well organized and structured with, they have various metadata also which store the data about data, that where and in which schema, in which table the data is stored, so that you can fetch data directly from that particular table, and these all things are not available with the file manager. It is used to store all relationship and directories in the file system. So, it is very important to know what are the demerits and disadvantages of file system that are DBMS, that all DBMS is going to remove. So, you can revise the point that minimal data redundancy, data inconsistency not exist in the DBMS, accessing database is easy, problem of isolation is not found. Next, transaction like activity we can do in DBMS which is not possible with the file system, and concurrent access and recovery is possible. Next, security of data is good in the DBMS, and a database manager administrator store the relationship in the form of structural tables. That's all for today, and next we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.